Hi guys, my name is Lee and this is my car here. It's a real bad boy, as you can see. I live in Kazakhstan, I drive in Kazakhstan. I'm now going to tell you 5 things that shocked me about driving here in Kazakhstan. So come and join me in my car. Welcome to my car. So as I said, I'm going to tell you 5 things that shocked me about driving in Kazakhstan. Briefly before I do that, let me give you a little bit of history about my experience of driving here. So I've been driving in Kazakhstan, I believe, for around 4 years. I live in Shymkent. I've also driven in cities such as Taraz, Almaty, and I've also driven abroad to Kyrgyzstan a couple of times. So I've got a fair bit of driving experience here. So the first thing that I want to talk to you about, the first thing that shocked me in Kazakhstan, was the cost of insurance. So I paid 10,000 tenge recently for a year's worth of car insurance. 10,000 tenge. I think it's something like, look, I just looked a bit earlier, it's less than $25 per year, $24, $23, depending on the exchange rate. So yeah, $23 or $24 for a year for insurance is really cheap. Okay, number 2. The second thing that shocked me about Kazakhstan, and it's a good thing, is that we have traffic lights that have a timer. So when you're driving, for example, you're driving along and the light is green, there will be a timer telling you when the traffic lights are going to change to red. So it might say 20, 19, 18. So you know you can just casually drive up and it's going to be a green light. Of course, it helps you to understand when the lights are turning to red. So it could be saying something like 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. So you know that it's time to slow down and stop. Or if you're in a hurry, it's time to speed up before the lights turn to red. And likewise, it's also really good when the lights are red, especially if you're at the front of the queue of the traffic lights, because you know when the lights will turn green. So you can just sit back, relax. Maybe it's like 40 seconds to go until green, and then as it gets to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you will be ready to drive off. So this is something that we don't have in the UK, where I'm from. Even in some other cities in Kazakhstan, we don't have this system as well. So in Shymkent, yeah, it's really good. I really like it. The third thing that shocked me about driving in Kazakhstan, and this is something that I don't particularly like, it's when you're driving and there's some traffic lights, you're making a right turn, so you're turning right, bearing in mind we drive on the right hand side. The problem is, when you turn right, for the pedestrians, the light is green. So pedestrians have right of way. So it's a little bit dangerous. If you're not careful, you can knock someone over, because as you're turning right, you have to just check, is there anyone crossing the road? And if there are people crossing the road, you have to stop and let them cross. And it's even more dangerous if you are at a traffic light and you're making a left turn. Reason being is because firstly, you've got to check the traffic coming the other way. So if there's nothing coming, you can, yes, go across, but then you've got to be careful that no one's crossing the road as well. And that's where it gets really dangerous. Unfortunately, I say unfortunately, I've never hit anyone before, but it is a little bit dangerous. There's been a few times where I've managed to get across and then I've had to quickly suddenly brake because there's people crossing the road. So yeah, that's something I don't particularly like, but I'm used to it now. Number 4, it's aggressive drivers. So I would definitely say that in Kazakhstan, the style of driving is very aggressive and kind of each man to their own, so to speak. It doesn't really bother me because I would say I'm quite an aggressive driver myself. I'm quite assertive. So if anything, it suits me. But for a lot of people that are used to driving in the UK, they would have a lot of difficulties driving here. So I don't know, for example, you get cars right behind you because maybe they think you're going too slowly, or maybe you're at a traffic light, it suddenly turns green and people start hooting you because you're not going. So yeah, the driving style here is definitely aggressive, but as I say, it doesn't really bother me that. If anything, it suits me and works to my advantage. And the fifth one, the last thing I want to say, number 5, is the one that it really annoys me. This, I would say that drivers here are selfish. Of course, not everyone, but there are still too many selfish drivers on the road. What do I mean by selfish drivers? I mean that you could be parked up somewhere and you come back to your car after a few hours, if you've been shopping or whatever, and you can't get out, you can't drive away because a car has blocked you and they've also parked up. Because there were no parking spaces, so they've just parked in the street blocking you. And then you can't drive anywhere because your car's blocked. That's a good example of selfish driving here. Or it could be someone just decides to pull up on the side of the road because for some reason, I don't know why, they feel like popping into a shop or something, even though you're not allowed to just suddenly stop in certain roads on the side of the road. And so you're driving behind them and you've suddenly got to move out into the next lane to get past them because they're selfish and they've just decided to stop in the middle of the road. So yeah, that's something that I don't like. But look, overall, I've been driving here, as I said, for about 4 years. I've never had any accidents, touch wood, and I quite like driving here. It's all right, you know. So yeah, if you are a foreigner and you want to drive in Kazakhstan and you've got any questions about it, then by all means fire away, ask me in the comment section below and I will get back to you for sure. So guys, thanks for watching, see you soon.